And we're doing definite versus indefinite articles. And all that is, that's just a fancy way of saying the or a, and some. So for definite articles, definite article means the. So saying the word the before a noun. An indefinite article, it stands for a, and some. So let's look at the chart. So definite articles are always masculine or feminine. So we want to put them between masculine and feminine, and then singular versus plural. So let's say if we want a definite article, a singular noun would say el, like el perro, meaning the dog, or la manzana, meaning the apple. But if we wanted to make it plural, we could say something like, okay, los perros, the dogs, or las manzanas, the apple. So for example, let's put that down. So el perro, we could say la casa. So this right here, the el in el perro is the article, and it's the definite article. So think of definite as defined. You know exactly what it is. The dog, the house. Now, if it's plural, let's say it's, okay, more than one dog. So in that case, it's los perros, okay? Las casas. So think of definite articles as the English equivalent of the. So el, la, los, las. So see, that's all it is. Now, when it comes to indefinite articles are a little bit more vague. You kind of can't put your finger on exactly what it is. So indefinite articles are like the English equivalent of a, and some. So for example, we can use our same nouns. If we want to say un perro, what this means is a dog. Una casa, a house. Unos perros, that means some dogs, and unas casas, some houses. So you see that's the difference between definite and indefinite. Definite is you know exactly what it is. The dog, the house, okay? El perro, la casa. But indefinite, you're not really sure. It could be any house. It could be any dog. So un perro is a dog. Una casa, a house. Unos perros, some dogs. Unas casas, some houses. It's not really specific. It's just indefinite. So that's the best way that we can understand that, is just remember, like, a definite article is the English equivalent of the. Indefinite articles, English equivalent of a, and some. And the way that we would categorize those as definite articles, el, la, los, las. When it comes to indefinite articles, un, una, unos, unas. Okay? So let's do an example here. Let's say that, okay, you just moved into a neighborhood and you see a dog. Let's say, okay, you see a dog you've never seen before. Would I say el perro or un perro? If I want to say a dog. A dog. Would it be el perro or un perro? It's a dog you've never seen before. It's nothing specific. So if you want to say, okay, a dog, then it would be un perro. Okay, so this one we're looking at here. Un perro. Yep. Good job, sir, over there. Yep, you had it right. You said un perro. So un perro is how you say a dog. Now, let's take it a step further. Now that I've told you about the dog, let's say a few minutes later, the dog is in the yard now. What if I want to say, okay, the dog, I see the dog, then what we use? If we want to say the dog. So if we want to say the dog, now that's being more definite, okay? That's being more specific. So the dog, it's going to be up. Good job. Good job, Eve. Yes, el perro. Good job, sir. Yes, el perro. Yes, exactly. So very good job. So good job. So that is just in a nutshell. So it is, I won't erase this because, we may have to refer back to it. What I'll do is I'll leave those up there too. So I'm going to move this and we're going to do an activity now. I want to do an activity to see how we are about our indefinite versus definite articles. So I hope you all have been paying attention and you're looking at the chart, because now we're going to do an activity here. So let's say, for example, I want to say the cat. If I want to say the cat, what would I put right here? What would I put in this blank if I want to say the cat? I got the word cat. What would be here to represent the? Okay, I'm seeing the words el. Now, I would be less of a good teacher if I didn't ask you why. How do you know that this is going to be el? How'd you know it'd be el and not, okay, los? How do you know it's not going to be la? Like, how do you know it's el, gato? Okay, well, yep, you're correct. It wouldn't be los because los is plural and gato is singular. So that way we know it wouldn't be los. Lucas says it ends in an O and it's masculine. Yep, the ending is masculine. Good job, Liz. Yep, exactly. Good job. Thank you, Just Alicia and Eve. And Hunter says it is one cat. Just Alicia said it is masculine. Exactly, exactly. Okay, good. So you all getting the hang of it. All right, now, what if we want to say a chair? Now, Sia is chair. How are we going to say the A part? If I want to say a chair, it would be blank Sia. What do we put there? Okay, so I can see this one tricked a few people up. Okay, so I see only one person got it right, and it's going to be Elenia. So a lot of y'all said la, but let's look back at our chart here. So if I want to say a, remember, now if I'm saying a, that falls under indefinite. And if we look down here, an indefinite article that is feminine, it's going to be una. A feminine word like sia is feminine, and it's going to be una. Because remember, I want to say a chair. I don't want to say the chair. If I said the chair, then guess what? The would fall under definite, feminine, and would have been la. But I didn't say the chair. I said a chair. So for a chair, it's going to be una. So una silla, okay? Because it's just like, a chair. Exactly, exactamente. So una silla, yes, a chair, a chair. But you all did some great jobs guessing, though. That's what we're here. We're here to learn. All right, now we're coming down to the plural now. How do I say the cars? The cars. Now, I already gave you carros here. How do I say the cars? Yes, exactamente. Yes, we're back to it. Yes, los. Now, why is it? Because carros is masculine, so that's why it's lo. But then we put los because it is plural. All right, so masculine and plural, that's how we get los. Okay, because if it were singular, if we would just want to say carro, then it would be el for singular. But because it is plural, more than one car, that's why it's los. That's why it is los. All right, good job. Now, what if I want to say some windows here? All right, ventanas. Ventanas is the word for windows, and I want to say some. Some windows. Some windows. Good job, Leslie. Yes. So far, Leslie is the only one that has it right. It's okay, though, because we're going to look back at our chart. So I said some windows. So if you're saying a, and, or some, that falls under an indefinite type of article. Now, let's look here. If the gender is going to be feminine and it's plural, like ventanas, unas. All right, so unas ventanas. All right, so ventanas is feminine, but it's also plural. And I said some. Now, the only reason it would be las ventanas if I said the windows. But I didn't say the windows. I said some windows. So this one is going to be unas. Like, yeah, I see some windows over there. Yeah, veo unas ventanas. So veo unas ventanas. I see some windows. So exactly. All right. And then the last one, teléfono. If I want to say a phone. Now, not the phone, a phone. A phone. Now, just so you all know, teléfono is masculine. It is masculine. So it's going to be exactamente un teléfono. Un teléfono. All right, exactly. And so it's un teléfono, meaning a phone. Now, just for fun, I could tell you when we would say el teléfono. Now, if for those of you who want to say el teléfono, I want you to know that that means the. Okay, that means the telephone. Okay, but the original answer, the original statement was a phone. So a phone, un teléfono. The phone is el teléfono. Okay, so that's just a lesson here on definite and indefinite articles. Now, the easier they get, the more you study. The more you study, the easier they get. So actually, today's lesson actually came right up out the textbook. So because I'm such a visual learner and I have pictures here, these actually will tell you all about making your nouns plural. So we have even more examples that we didn't have time to go over. So el zapato, los zapatos. So that is, the definite word of saying the shoe, the shoes. La casa, las casas. Let's look here at these indefinite articles. So we have un perro, which is a dog, will turn into unos perros, some dogs. A table, una mesa, will turn into unas mesas, some tables. So there you go. So, and then it's got, pictures and things to help you to go as you go from singular to plural. And, it's just very easy. So we are having a lot of fun out of that textbook. And it comes out of, let's see, chapter 4? Yeah, it's from Unit 4, Nouns, Articles, and Genders. And in here is where you learn how to categorize nouns by masculine, feminine, indefinite versus definite, the gender, the exceptions. And by the end of it, you'll have no problem. You'll have actually an easy time identifying what nouns are masculine, feminine, the phrases that go with them, plurality and agreement. Somebody said, what is the name of the textbook? Okay. It's called Confianza, which is Spanish for confidence, all right? Because I teach confidence over here. Confianza level 1. Learn Spanish the way it should have been taught. It's designed for adult learners. So I say this is on my website. It's not available on Amazon. It's sold exclusively through my website. So if you hit the link in my bio or just go to blackgirlspanish.com, click on textbook tab, and you'll get right to it. I also have this in digital for those who want instant access. But yes, level 1 Spanish, and it's over 300 pages. So yeah, you definitely get a lot. It's 12 different units, all different conversation practice and things that we learned today in more detail. So yeah, Confianza level 1 Spanish. It is on my website. But yeah,